Good day, Africans. I once again stand here to speak to you about our movement called the People's Movement for African Unity. It's not just to unite Africa that matters. There is a lot of things that had happened in our history that we will also put into correction. We have to fill those vacuums of the past so that we can be able to move forward, because for the people to be able to stand, they must have a foundation. And that foundation had been laid by our predecessors. Unfortunately, we have not been building enough or strongly on that foundation. But it is time to build it. That's why we found the movement to be able to carry out the New Africa. In this video message, I want to speak specifically about one man, Nelson Mandela. I don't want you to have a lot of emotional attachment from what you hear from me. But I want you to analyze it more profoundly. I'm not here to insult Mandela or to praise him. A lot of South Africans that I have spoken with, most of them have only spoken about some aspect of Nelson Mandela the way they understand him. Some say that Nelson Mandela was impimpi, was a saboteur. Some say that he was not in prison in the first place. But where was Nelson Mandela for 27 years? For a man to be in prison does not mean he has to be locked in a door. If you are deprived of the freedom to be with your family, whether they take you to the best hotel in America or UK and keep you there with security and stop you from interacting with your family and doing what you know best for your own people, that is imprisonment. Nelson Mandela did not have to be in Robben Island all the minutes of his life to be called a prisoner. He was not to die in the same cruel manner like Steve Biko for him to be acknowledged as a freedom fighter. Because some of you have seen that Nelson Mandela was this or was that. Of course, there are people who might have done some physical sacrifice more than him, or have suffered a lot more than him. But he was not free to do what he was doing, what he wanted to do most. A lot of things, people have talked a lot of things. Of course, we know that there are things that we expected the great man to do that he did not do. He also knew that there are things he should have done that he did not do. But, like I'm saying, there was a special spirit in the man. I can tell you, of course, he did not do a lot of things that you wanted him to do, but the fact that Nelson Mandela had that courage, that power of mind, at the beginning, makes him deserve to be respected. The ANC, African National Congress, was formed a few years before Nelson Mandela was born. But none of them, before Mandela came, had the courage to take a decisive step that was required until he came, him and his colleague. The fact that he had that very power to break that very door open, that door was locked, to push it to that very initial power, push it open for other freedom fighters to be able to go, means something else. Not everybody have the power, the capacity to take that first step. You take the first step doesn't mean you are the one who is going to end it. But that very first step is the most important of all. For him to be part of those, or single-handedly with courage, stand up to break that very barrier that opened the way for other people to come and come. Of course, there were people, like I've always said, the divine masters cannot prepare something without preparing the audience, because nothing is being done by one man. The need for freedom has been going on in South Africa for many years. like every other places across the world where we fought for freedom. The divine masters take time to build the mind of the people to make them ready. But it's not everyone that is granted the power and the ability to break into it and move into it, into achieving that very freedom that is needed. The fact that Nelson Mandela was able to be part of those who had the courage to break that very door, that barrier open, and make the youth or other people to follow suit, or those people who were there, there are people who were there before Mandela. They were older than him. People have been there in the ANC or Pan-Africanist movement. They were older than him. They have been doing things. But that power, that audacity to go and break something dead or alive, so that people can get in, and it's not something that everybody could do. He had that very power, that very spirit was embedded in him to break into it. That's why I say that the great men deserve our respect, irrespective of how he ended himself before his death. Even in the spirit today, he still acknowledges that there are some flaws and failures on his side. But that's not a reason why some people should see Nelson Mandela, why some people in South Africa. We know that his name was overhyped because those who use him to achieve their aim, they hyped his name and make him God, that whatever comes up from his mouth is something that has to be obeyed. No, it's not going to work like that. Nelson Mandela is an African. He is not Africa. And the eternal future of Africa is not in his hand. So don't think all those things you go and give Mandela wine and praise him with music, and then you take a camera and put in front of him to make him say a word out of the emotional appeal of the moment, and then you pick that very word and come and present us in the media and say Mandela says this, he's the father of the nation, he's the what. That thing, that's not what we are going to follow. We are not going to follow. We are not liable to Mandela's word. No. We choose what is there that favors us as an African. And the other way, where he has said something that is not acceptable, we tell him no. I think we are liable to Nelson Mandela's comment. We cannot allow Nelson Mandela's comment you took in video or some of his quotes. We cannot allow it to become a chain that we cannot break away from. Nelson Mandela never called himself a god, and he is not a god. He never gave himself the type of acknowledgement that we are getting from the Western media and Western academia, because they have used the name of Nelson Mandela as a chain to dampen our aggression in fighting for our freedom. But one thing people have always forgotten is that you can never subdue the truth. It's a matter of time before they come up. A lot of manipulations has been going here and there in South Africa. Everywhere they go, they put millions of money to sponsor Mandela. You think we are dogs? That once you mention Mandela, then we must go down for you. You're joking. You don't know what you're talking about. It's just that a certain generation, certain spirit work and go down. When a new spirit comes again, you will understand that you cannot manipulate black people. We're not going to yield to those things. Say Mandela say. Mandela didn't say. That is your own discussion with Mandela. We as a people decide what is appropriate for us. And that's what we're going to do. If you want Mandela, go and bring him back from the grave, so you can come and drink wine with him, and then he can give you beautiful English. We're not here to talk English or make beautiful food. Go and bring Mandela back to come and give you the opportunity to siphon Africa, and starting from South Africa, talking nonsense, Mandela, father of the nation. If you want him, go and bring him back from the grave. We are the people. The continuity of this very continent, every part of the continent, is bequeathed on us by God. It's our responsibility to decide how our life goes on. Not someone else, not an individual. And when we rise up in this generation, we will decide what is good for ourselves. That might be good, something must be good some years back based on their own generation. That's fine. When we rise, We will decide. Great African leaders, people like Patrice Lumumba, rose to oppose a lot of things in Congo. He was killed. A lot have been humiliated, including Kabila. A lot have died in the continent. So as soon as you are able to manipulate a certain individual, then you come and tell us that that African is a god because he yielded to what you are forcing him to do. Then you think that's how you're going to be. You think Mandela has the power to decide the future of Africa for generations. You think Nelson Mandela is the most intelligent African that will ever be in existence. So when you come and sit here and tell us about Mandela this, Mandela that, don't think it's what we are going to follow. We don't want to speak long here. But I call on everybody to respect Nelson Mandela for what he has done. But that does not mean that what he has said will become the eternal laws of Africa. No. That's nonsense. We're not going to accept that. We're going to take the initiative that is appropriate in our own generation. And we will give our future generation the possibility of taking initiative that is appropriate in managing this very continent in their own time. We're not saying that whatever we do in this generation is going to be a permanent law. No. There are forces of evolution. As things evolve and change, so our children will know what is appropriate for the defense of the continent. And to defend their integrity and dignity among the community of mankind. And because we want to give our coming generations, our future generations, the opportunity to manage Africa as appropriately as we deem fit, in that way we are not liable to something Nelson Mandela said 20 years ago. If we find out that it's not appropriate for what we need in Africa today, no, we are not going to take that. Thank you.